Hi, I'm Miss Van Loan, and in this video, we're going to complete Module 3, Lesson 2, Independent Practice. Remember, I recommend using your math notebook and using your paper the normal way, which is called portrait. Please use a pencil, either number 2 or mechanical, and have an eraser handy. For the purposes of this video, I will be using a blank sheet of white paper, and it will be in the landscape orientation. That is because it works better for the video camera. I'm also going to be using pen because it shows up better on camera. All right, let's get started. Module 3, Lesson 2, Independent Practice, and we'll put our name. And this looks like we are doing order of operations with rational numbers, so with decimals and fractions. And I am going to use a calculator for the decimals, for multiplying decimals, because this is not testing you on can you multiply decimals. We've already done that. This is testing you on can you do the order of operations. So it is okay to use a calculator for this. And I did turn on the calculator option for honor lock. So just look for the basic calculator there. Let's put our PEMDAS. PEMDAS, number 1. 0.5 plus 2.75 squared times 1.55. So there's no parentheses. We've got an exponent right there. That's this one, so we'll do that first. Then multiplication and division. That'll be this one. See, multiply. And then addition and subtraction. So then whatever we get here, we'll add 0.5 to that. 2.75 times 2.75 equals 7.565. So that was two 2.75s multiplied together. If this was a 3, it would be 3 2.75s multiplied together. Let's now bring everything else down, times 1.55. This is the next thing I'll be doing. And then at the end, we'll do the addition and subtraction of adding whatever we got here to the 0.5. So we have 7.5625 times 1.55, and that equals 11.721875. 11.721875. 0.5 plus that. And I'm just going to use the calculator. So I already have it here. Let's just add 0.5, and we get 12.221875. All right, number 2. Parentheses. 1/6 plus 2/3 times 5/6, close parentheses, all of that squared. So parentheses first. So we've got to do what's inside the parentheses first, and then whatever we get, we're going to square that. So let's just look inside the parentheses. We have an addition and we have a multiplication. The multiplication comes first. So 2 times 5 is 10, and 3 times 6 is 18. We're going to add 1/6 to that, and then what's inside the parentheses at the end will get squared. So now, when we're adding, we have to have a common denominator. So let's multiply this 1/6 by the giant 1. I'll grab a blue pen here. So we're going to multiply by, we need an 18, so we need a times 3. So we'll do times 3 over 3. This is the giant 1. Remember, when we multiply by 1, it doesn't change the value of the fraction. We're just changing the denominator. It's kind of like if you have a pizza with 6 slices and then you cut every slice into thirds, and now you have 18 slices. So 1 times 3 is 3, 6 times 3 is 18, and we can add that to our 10/18ths, and we will eventually square it. So now we get to put these together. 3 plus 10 is 13 over 18, and we're going to square that. I'm going to bring it up here. 13 over 18 times 13 over 18. We've got two of these multiplied together. That's what the squared means. And since we're allowed to use the calculator on this, we might as well use the calculator. 13 times 13 equals 169. And 18 times 18 equals 324. And let's see if these are divisible by anything. If we can, actually I don't think so, because 169, nothing, it's just going to be 13 times 13. So yeah, that's it. We're not going to be able to simplify that at all, because 13 isn't divisible by anything, so you can't pull anything out. 169 is just 1 times 169, or 13 times 13. Whereas 18 is also 3 times 6 and 2 times 9. So from 324, we can pull out a 2, we can pull out a 3, a 9, a 6, but we can't pull any of those out of the 169. So we're already simplified. That's it. Let's go to number 3. Parentheses 2.6 minus 6.8, close parentheses, plus 1.6 squared times 5.6. So we can do what's inside the parentheses first. And if we're using a calculator, let's just speed things up here. 2.6 minus 6.8 equals negative 4.2 plus 1.6 squared times 5.6. So now we're going to do this exponent, because we can just rewrite this as negative 4.2 plus 1.6 squared times 5.6. So let's do that squared. 1.6 times 1.6 equals 2.56, and then times 5.6. So we have an addition and we have a multiplication. The multiplication comes first. So 2.56 times 5.6 equals 14.336. We have negative 4.2 plus that. So in other words, we can do this one minus that one. 14.336 minus 4.2 equals 10.136. Number 4, parentheses 2/5, close parentheses, squared, plus 1/3 times 6. So let's do the 2/5 squared first. 2/5 times 2/5. So 2 times 2 is 4. 5 times 5 is 25. Plus what we have here, 1/3 times 6. So we have an addition, multiplication. We're going to do multiplication first. Let's just put the 6 over 1, and we can multiply those. 1 times 6 is 6. 3 times 1 is 3. And we could actually reduce that. to just 2, right? 6 divided by 3 is 2. So let's do that. So we'll bring this all down. 4/25 plus 2 is going to be 2 and 4/25. I mean, we could always put 2 over 25 and say 4/25 plus 2 times 25 would be 50/25. And then we'd get 54/25. And then we could pull out 2 and have 4/25 left over. But we just kind of shortcutted it by putting the whole number with the fraction and making a mixed number. Okay, let's do number 5. Parentheses 5/6 minus parentheses 1/3 close parentheses squared close parentheses. So we've got a parentheses inside a parentheses. All of that is going to be divided by 1/3. So we've got to figure out what's inside here first, and then whatever we get here we'll divide by 1/3. So we'll start with this exponent right here. So we're going to do 1/3 times 1/3. And we get 1/9. So 5/6 minus 1/9. All of that is still in parentheses. All of that is still going to be divided by 1/3 at the end. So we need a common denominator here to subtract. So 18 is going to be the common denominator because 6 times 3 is 18 and 9 times 2 is 18. So let's put in our giant 1s here. We're going to multiply by 1. For 5/6, we'll multiply by 3/3. For 1/9, we'll multiply by 2/2. 5 times 3 is 15. 6 times 3 is 18. Minus 1 times 2 is 2. 9 times 2 is 18. All of that is still in parentheses. All of that's still going to be divided by 1/3 at the end. So now 15/18 minus 2/18. Well, 15 minus 2 is 13/18. That will be divided by 1/3. So let's go ahead and do keep, change, flip, and we'll have 13/18 times 3/1. And I often forget to do this, but let's go ahead and cross cancel. We'll divide by 3, and 18 divided by 3 is back to 6, and 3 divided by 3 is 1. So now we have 13/6 basically times a giant 1, 1/1. So this is going to equal 13/6. And now we can simplify that. 6 times 2 is 12. So we'll take out 2 6s and we'll be left with 1 left over. 2 1/6. Number 6, 1.8 plus 3/5 minus 0.8 divided by 1/2. So we have fractions and decimals. So we need to decide, do we want to have everything in decimals or do we want to have everything in fractions? If we had a 3, a 6, or a 9 on the bottom of the fraction, I would say leave it in fractions, because if we convert to decimal, we'll have a repeating decimal. I think same thing with 7 is also a repeating decimal. So if we were going to get a repeating decimal, I'd say let's just convert everything to fractions. But this is a really nice decimal, and so is this. This is a really nice decimal. So 3/5, if we multiply by 2/2, is 6/10. 6/10 is 0.6. This is the tenths place. So you can convert, you would say both of these the same. This is 6/10 and this is 6/10. So we can rewrite this as 1.8 plus 6/10 or 0.6 minus 0.8 divided by, and 1/2, that's 0.5. We can do it the same way as this, 1/2 times our giant 1. We'll do 5/5, and we'll get 5/10, and 5/10 is 0.5. This is the tenths place, 5/10, 5/10, so divided by 0.5. Now we have everything in decimals. Let's go ahead and look at PEMDAS. This is addition, this is subtraction, this is division. So we've got to do this one first. So 0.8 divided by 0.5. 0.8 divided by 0.5. Oops. 0.8 divided by 0.5. 1.6. We have 1.8 plus 0.6 minus 1.6. So, you know what, let's just use our calculator. Plus 0.6 equals 2.4 minus 1.6. So 2.4 minus 1.6 equals 0.8. Number 7, parentheses, 1/5 minus 1/3, close parentheses, squared, plus 1/5. So let's do the parentheses first. So we're going to need to do 1/5, and we're going to need to get a common denominator, minus 1/3. So we'll multiply by the big 1. And to get a common denominator between 5 and 3, it'll be 15. 5 times 3/3, and this will be times 5/5. 1 times 3 is 3. 5 times 3 is 15, minus 1 times 5 is 5. 3 times 5 is 15. 3/15 minus 5/15 is going to be negative 2/15, right? 3 minus 5, we're going to go negative 2. Remember on our number line here, 0, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And we're going to do minus 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 3 minus 5 is negative 2, and then the denominator stays the same. All right, let's look back up here. So all of that was in there is going to be squared, and then at the end we'll add 1/5 to that. So negative 2/15 squared. So negative 2/15 times negative 2/15. 2 times 2 is 4, and the negatives cancel out, so that'll become positive. 15 times 15 225. So this negative 2/15 squared became 4/225. And now we still need to add that 1/5. So 4/125 plus 1/5. Well, it looks like we're going to have a denominator of 125. Oh, 225. Why did I rewrite that wrong? 225. So we're going to have 4/225 plus 1/5, and we're going to have to use our giant 1 again. So 5 times something is going to give us 225. Let's figure out what that is. Oops, clear. So 225 divided by 5 is 45. So we'll have to multiply the top and bottom by 45. and that will give us 45 2/25. So we'll have 4 2/25 plus 45 2/25, and that'll be 4 and 5. 4 and 45 is going to be 49 2/25. And I don't think that reduces because 49 will factor to 1 times 49 or 7 times 7. And there's no 7 out of 225. You could double check. 225 divided by 7. Nope, not even. All right, let's do number 8. 0.5 times 3/4 plus 4.5 squared. Okay, PEMDAS. There's no parentheses. We do have an exponent right there. So let's do the exponent first. 4.5 times 4.5 equals 20.25. So we'll bring everything down. 0.5 times 3/4 plus 20.25. Oh, I forgot to convert that into a decimal so that we can have all decimals. So 3 divided by 4, we can just use our calculator, and that equals 0.75. Whenever you see a denominator of 4, think about quarters. This is just a trick for fractions with a 4 in the denominator. A 1/4 is 1 out of 4 quarters, or 25 cents. 2/4 is 2 quarters, which is 50 cents, or 0.50. 3/4 is 75 cents. And 4/4 is $1. So when you have quarters or fourths, it should be pretty easy to convert to a decimal. So 0.5 times 0.75 plus 20.25. So let's go ahead and do the multiplication first, and then we'll do the addition. So that'll be this. 0.5 times 0.75 equals 0.375 plus 2.25. So let's add that. Plus 2.25 is 2.625. And that's it. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.